Childhood dreams and fantasies. Do you remember those? Oh, I had a lot of them. Growing up, I always wanted to tap dance and I wanted to play the violin. I would imagine myself as this crazy, bewitched person on a violin and walking around, just, like a gypsy violinist, walking around, entertaining people, making them feel good and going off into some rhapsody, right? And tap dancing, tap dancing. I grew up in the era of, do you remember Fred Astaire? I know, I'm dating myself. But I would watch in Shirley Temple as they tap danced, and I'm like, I think I could do that. I always wanted to do that. But, we grew up poor. We're family. I'm actually an immigrant. Came through Ellis Island and, like on the boat and all that stuff. I became a naturalized citizen. I took my oath and everything when I was only 11 years old. But, we grew up poor. And there was no such thing as lessons for instruments like violin or, God forbid, like tap dancing. So I grew up with those dreams and I didn't want to give them up. So the first time I actually acted on my childhood dreams was when I started my first business. I think I was 30 years old. And we went and I rented this dusty warehouse in Elizabeth, New Jersey with a concrete floor. And I remember going in and being so excited. I'm like, oh God, I'm starting something new, and I couldn't wait. And I just felt this power, like this power of being invincible and I can do anything. And I felt, I got my friends, actually my husband at the time, my best friend, and her son, a little boy. And we went into town. I said, I have to get my tap dancing shoes. I says, I know I could do this. Crazy, right? So there, I remember buying these shoes, the tap dance. They were dance shoes. And they put the cleats on right then and there. And we drove back to the warehouse. And I had an old record player in there. And I think it was the theme from 42nd Street. Come and meet those dancing feet. Remember that? Well, anyhow. So I put that on, I put my shoes on, and I started tap dancing. I swear. I just remember, wow. And this is actually pretty easy. I'm flailing about. I'm doing these little flurries with my feet because I had watched and dreamed about it for so long. I just tried and make it go through my body. So after it was over, I'll never forget this. My friend's little boy, I don't know how old he was, maybe 5 or 6 years old. And he said, Aunt Rena, will you teach me how to tap dance too? I almost lost it. A dream doesn't have to be perfect. And all you got to do is just take one step towards it. Anyhow, I got another dream to tell you about, another dream to show you that you don't have to be perfect with your dream as long as you start. So years later, I bought my first house. And again, that feeling of being invincible and yes, I could do anything. And my other dream then was to learn the violin. Okay, so here I am, a crazy 30-something-year-old, right? Can I learn the violin? I was so excited because I actually found a violin teacher locally. I remember at the time it was like, $30 a lesson. But I couldn't wait. I rented myself a violin and I went up and I took lessons with her. I took them for about 4 or 5 months or so. And unlike the tap dancing, it's actually harder than you think. But I have to say, I managed to eke out one song that I was proud. And I'll never forget. It was my brother, my sister, my husband at the time, and my little girl. And I had the violin out, and I said, okay, I've learned my first song. And they're all sitting there listening to me as I eked out Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Now, I'm going to try to help you imagine what it sounded like. It sounded like, but I did it. I did it. And they clapped, of course. But it was an important lesson. The important lesson is, hey, dreams are never perfect at first. Just because you try it one time or 2 times or 3 times, it's an ongoing thing. Dreams are ongoing adventures. And it's when you stop dreaming that you got to worry. You're not because your dream isn't going as planned. No, I think it could be really scary if you don't have a dream. And just because you don't have the means or you're older, maybe like us, doesn't mean that you stop dreaming. It just means revisiting them again, and you keep trying. That's my message for today. Don't give up on your dreams. Go ahead. Start tap dancing. Please like and subscribe. It's free, and it will help me